You've probably heard the observation that the pandemic has accelerated trends that were evident before COVID-19 turned the world upside down. What has the impact of the pandemic been on an asset manager like Fidelity International, especially when it comes to sustainable investing and how the company itself behaves? Well, to find out, I'm joined by the company's Chief Executive, Anne Richards. Anne, welcome to you. Corporate behaviour, good corporate behaviour, has been one of the themes of your time in post. Can you explain why sustainable investing matters to you personally?
I think when I think about sustainable investing, when I think about all of the conversations that we've had in the last 12, 18 months, it just feels like an idea whose time has come. And at a really personal level, when future generations look back at our generation and ask what we did to address what is the great challenge of our times, which is the climate, I don't think that we yet have the pace and the urgency into the execution of what we need to do as a society, as economies, as countries, as leaders to really face into this and address it. And I think for me now, the moment is now, and we need to get on with taking really serious action.
And you've led the company through an exceptionally tough period. What changes have you introduced within Fidelity itself?
The last 16, 18 months of the pandemic, we had to pivot the entire business to working from home, and that's in more than 25 countries globally. We've had 99% plus of our staff working from home all through the majority of this period. So we learned in that really quickly that we had to do things differently. But at the same time, we tried to keep our focus on what our strategic agenda was and keep moving forward on some of those really important things that we felt mattered through the company. And so the learning from me from this is that we can be bold, we can be ambitious, and we can do far more than we thought and imagined we could do in order to deal with the pandemic. And we need to take that thinking and apply it to the climate agenda, the sustainability agenda.
And any specific policies that you're proud of introducing at a time when the world was pretty much locked down?
Well, we had, for example, we had taken the decision that we wanted to introduce enhanced parental leave globally, which was basically giving primary and secondary carers right around the world the same opportunity to spend time with new arrivals in their families. And we decided to go ahead with that despite all the madness that was going on. We introduced carers leave. For example, everybody has the right to carers leave if you're looking after elderly parents. We've continued to try to think about different things that we could do to keep our agenda moving forward.
So that's Fidelity's own corporate sustainability, if you like, but these are things that you look for in investee companies as well. How are you formalising your investment team's approach to sustainable investing?
Well, I think we should apply the same mirror to ourselves as the one that we apply to the companies in which we invest. I mean, we can't be asking other companies to do things we're not prepared to do ourselves. And we know that companies which are in any way exploitative of any of their stakeholders, so whether it's the environment, whether it's their supply chain, whether it's their staff, whether it's the communities in which they work, are very unlikely to be sustainable companies. So because we are looking for sustainable businesses in which to invest, and because we consider ourselves a business that wants to be here for the long term, these are the sorts of things that we are asking our investee companies to think about really hard and to make sure that they are asking the same hard questions of themselves that we are asking of ourselves in order to build truly sustainable businesses.
It is a complex network, isn't it, of stakeholders, and you've given us the whole range there. What's the biggest challenge for somebody in your position when you look at how you deal with that network of stakeholders?
Look, for example, take supply chains. They are incredibly complicated. It's very seldom that you have a single supply chain. Every one of our suppliers has its own supply chain and they work through that. So getting the data, being able to truly look through all the way through a supply chain is immensely hard. I think the data is the single biggest thing that we all wrestle with. How do we get that? But it's improving. And I think my message to companies, which is the same one again that we look to ourselves internally, is don't let perfection stand in the way of finding the good. Don't let perfection stand in the way of progress. Because if we all can focus on just getting a bit better at that stuff, we will build the data sets, we will get more transparency, and that ultimately will be what leads us to a much better place, both in the companies in which we invest, and we believe therefore give us long-term better sustainable returns, but also in society as a whole.
Small steps perhaps, but they all add up. Anne Richards, thank you very much indeed. That's all from the studio in London, but you can find out more about the team's work on fidelityinternational.com or your local Fidelity website. Goodbye.